This week on Dan Really Likes Wine, we celebrate 4 members of our South African wine community who are to be celebrated for really, really good reason. Every year, the Harvest Festival that happens at Groot Constantia, the commemoration event, pays tribute to a selection of South African wine champions and does so because they put something very special, something extra into our world of wine. And the quartet we have today, not all 5, one of our winners sadly not able to join us today, but the quartet we have, well, they are a wonderful, wonderful lot. And the first of those is somebody who I think thoroughly deserves many, many, many awards, principally because he's given me many, many good times and lots of great glasses of wine. And they've usually involved wine that goes back a fair bit. Bennie Howard, it's lovely to have you back on Dan Really Likes Wine, and congratulations. Tell us a little bit about this award and what it means to you.
Thank you very much. I was really astonished and speechless when I was told about the award. So this award to me is really the cherry on the cake of a full career. I joined the industry in 1979 to be one of the ambassadors of wine for the then Stellenbosch Farmers Winery. And wine as a lifestyle has become very much part and parcel of. If you just think of things like wine and food evenings, you and I have shared many wine and food evenings that we can talk at length about. That is just one of the ways how you can enjoy wine. And if I think about my dinner table at home, at the braai, how do you share and enjoy good wine with good food and good people?
The speaking of sharing, which you do, of sharing wine with people, sharing food with people, sharing this award with other people, I think is at the heart of why you got this award, because you are incredibly generous with your time, with your knowledge, with your passion for wine. I'm one of many, many, many recipients. Why is it that drives who you are? Why is it that this insistence on bringing other people into your fold is so core to who Bennie Howard is?
I think it is part and parcel of who you are. Your personality, I think, is important. So if you are outgoing, if you are somebody who can talk easily, and that was one of the reasons why I was employed by the wine industry, is because I came from a broadcasting background at that stage. And that all, I think, assisted one to be freely speaking about wine. Dave Hughes taught me that many, many years ago when we had a lunch in a restaurant in Johannesburg, and there were a few other people that he knew. And he just stood up and he took the very nice bottle of wine we had with us for lunch, and he went to the tables around to the friends that he knows, and he just gave them each a little sip of this wine. And, you know, that was to me such an amazing thing. It was almost magical. That you don't keep wine for yourself. You share it with people, whether you talk about it, whether you drink from the same bottle. And I think that is what has been part of my lifestyle, is to share. And the more you share, I think the more it comes back to you.
I am trying to learn from you, Bennie, as everyone should. I'm still somewhat hesitant to share certain bottles of wine, which I would far rather just drink all to myself. But mostly I do try and let a few other people in. Speaking of other people, very quickly, the other award recipients on the night, a quick word on some of them and the accolades they received.
Let's start with Praisy, a very well-deserved award. She has been a stalwart of what is all about women in wine in South Africa. Her passion, again, shows in what she does and how she says it, and in her wines. Jan Boysen, a guy that has an immense knowledge of South African wine, and the fact that he has been part and parcel of so many of the forums that has brought our country and our industry where we are now. You know, I think that is absolutely great. And he is still one of the people that if I need to know something, I can phone him and I know he'll have an answer for me. Marcus from Kanonkop, I think he is a well-deserved one. And I was so happy that there's a new award that was instituted this year for the Agri Worker of the Year. And then Johan Krige, who I've known for many, many years, And I have a very soft spot for Kanonkop because I did one of my first radio interviews with Paul Sauer at Kanonkop.
High praise indeed from Bennie Howard, and I know it would come straight back to you from them because you are held in high esteem in our wine community, and rightly so. Bennie, congratulations, but I don't think I do full justice to our celebration via a video call, so expect me at Mirandal soon to plough into some of that vintage wine of yours, which I'm only doing to celebrate you, Bennie, and not because I really want to drink really amazing wine from decades ago.
Dan, we're looking forward to that. But I have a special glass of wine in my hand. I'm really, I like white wines a lot. I like Cap de Six tremendously. But there's nothing like a good glass of red wine. So I've got a glass of red wine here that I would like to raise to the past of our industry and the most amazing people that formed part of my life of the past. But with this glass, I also want to drink to the future of the South African wine industry. I think there is a very, very bright future ahead. Cheers to you and to the industry.
So there we go. The great Bennie Howard, one of the nominees, one of the award winners at the Commemoration Festival this year. And you couldn't have found a more deserving one. Some more very special wine people coming shortly. This year's Harvest Festival, the wine commemoration at Groot Constantia, saw a number of stalwarts of the South African wine industry celebrated. Praisy Dlamini was one of those, and very rightly so, championing the work of inclusivity in an industry that is still very much in a state of flux. Has it improved? Certainly. Does it have a way to go? Well, yes, very much so as well. But an award like this is certainly a step in the right direction, and also Praisy recognition for what has been a great career in wine, and one that I'm sure you look back on with both an appreciation for the challenges, of which there were many, but also very proudly for what you have achieved to date in this South African wine world of ours.
Yes, thank you so much, Dan, for having me. It's really an honor and a pleasure. I couldn't have been more honored to actually have received the award, which also I was not expecting.
Take us back to the very start of your involvement in the wine industry, which seems like it was just yesterday, but it does go back. How different was the wine world you entered to the one you find yourself in today?
It was very different, and there was a lot of work that I think people that have gone before me that have laid. We just had to, take on the baton and carry forward. But the heritage that we actually assumed custodians of, it's something incredible. And to actually find yourself in the middle of it and also being trusted to forge the way forward, it's a huge responsibility. And where you ask yourself is, are you going to do justice or are you not? But I think for me, it's just how we just keep on growing that it's for everyone to belong in it. And if you want to be part of it, it's for you as well. So I think it's seeing it today, and it makes the future very exciting, and looking forward to it.
When I speak to young black women in wine today, they speak of role models, and your name comes up regularly, as it should. 20 years ago, there weren't a lot of black women in wine who you could look up to as your own role models. How did you deal with breaking into a world where you were very much different to the majority of who existed, and help to find your feet in this industry?
If I look back, there was, an amazing, I think, woman by the name of Ntsibiela. If you were to look at someone who's, coming from the same place as me, from KwaZulu-Natal, where we were born from a place where there was no vineyards. And the only time you go to see the vineyards was when you came to study, whether at Stellenbosch or at Elsenburg. And to see how she's built her business and her profile and her life around, the wine industry is incredible. The Cape Makers Guild Project program, it laid a foundation of what is out there. And it sort of cemented the credibility of what you can do as a young winemaker. And obviously, when I ventured into a big corporate world of Distell then, which is now Heineken, so having landed to where I am now, where you were trusted with growing the small business, that you're now becoming a key industry player amongst all the other people that have been there for years. And it's like, how do you make sure that this business gets sustainable, but at the same time, how do you make sure that it's meaningful? And you also contribute towards teaching the next generation, which is what we do with the bursaries that we give out to the young people.
And that's in no small part why you received this award. It is a highlight, I have no doubt, of your career, all the more so because you received it in front of so many peers. Give me two others, if you will, two other moments from this great wine story of yours. One where you really felt, you know what, I think I've made it as a winemaker. I think I've actually got my head around this. And then a moment that for you, when you look back, you go, yeah, in terms of Praisy the winemaker, Praisy in the wine industry, this one really, really still makes me smile.
You know, I think I'll start with the later question. The one that makes me smile is seeing people appreciate what you do. Is every time when you engage with an audience, where you break bread with people and they love and they want to support you. They literally ask you, what more can we do? And I think winning an award, it forced me to sit back and reflect, because when you're just in the moment and when you're just pushing, you don't get time to just look how far you've traveled.
I'm not surprised at all that sense of ambition still burns brightly, but I think you've more than deserved the chance to press pause, albeit briefly, pour yourself a really good glass of wine and toast yourself, because it's an award that many of us take great joy in seeing, but one that you have every reason to celebrate, because it doesn't cap off the career. There's still much to come, but it's really important recognition, and it pays tribute to what you've given us.
No, thank you. I will try not to stop. I'll go at it.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Praisy Dlamini, one of our award winners at the Harvest Commemoration this year, a stalwart of South African wine, but that certainly doesn't mean that she's anywhere near done just yet. As you might have heard from Bennie Howard a little earlier, a really important new award this year at the Harvest Commemoration, and this one was a category that, again, as Bennie suggested, is not always as celebrated as it should. The Agri Worker Award, paying tribute to the army of South African wine champions who do such a sterling job in ensuring that we get to drink what we do. And our very first winner, Marcus Lewis, is somebody who I'm sure is not just incredibly happy, but possibly still getting over the mild shock. How surprised were you that this award came your way?
Good afternoon, Dan. Quite unbelievable, quite an honor. Not only to receive the reward for the first time, but just receiving the reward on itself. Just shows where I was and how far I've come. I think in my personal life and in my work life. So yeah.
It's an easy one to forget when we are drinking a glass of wine and we remember the estate or perhaps the winemaker and raise a glass. But there are a lot of people beyond just the winemakers. And in fairness, the winemakers are the first to tell us this and to pay tribute to the rest of their teams. But you give us here today the opportunity to see why you win this award. So tell us something of the work that you do and why you are so passionate about it.
Well, I wanted to go and study law. And I got a little bit off the path, if you can put it like that. But yeah, I was introduced into the winemaking industry in 2021, when I started at Stellenbosch Hills as a cellar hand during the harvest season. And from there, everything just kicked off. I just hope it inspires the rest of the guys in the cellars, in the vineyards, to just give their best and always just keep believing in yourself and just doing what you have to do to go further or to better yourself. Like for me this year, getting the award was a show of how far along I've come, and yes, how I really love the wine industry, business, working with wine, and everything that goes with the wine industry.
You also get to work at a rather special place at the moment, which had double cause to celebrate at these particular events. Tell us about this incredible estate you call home.
Yeah, beautiful. We always talk about it's a family. Like the CEO said, Mr. Krige, he said, there's a boat here at Kanonkop. And if you climb on that boat, you're part of the family. When I came for the interview, me and Aubrey spoke, and afterwards we laughed, and he said, "Yo, it is like you should be here, or you should be you should come to work for Kanonkop because the conversation was so heartwarming, if I can put it like that. It wasn't the questions. It was actually, like I said, how you are as a person and how you try to do your best."
I have no doubt. I think you're pretty indispensable now after this award. But you would have been either way, Marcus. Your enthusiasm and passion shine through. It's great to see. I know you will have inspired many others with this award. It is the first one. It couldn't have gone to a better person. So congratulations. Keep enjoying the work and keep on keeping those crickers in check and make sure that they're not removing too much of that vintage Paul Sour from the cellar while no one's watching.
No, actually not, because the 2015, I'm actually looking for myself for the 100 points one. I don't see any of that, so I don't know.
Marcus Lewis, the very first recipient of the new Viticulture Worker Award, and he's not just a great credit to Kanonkop, but a South African wine, a really, really cool new category, and great to be able to celebrate him on the show today. And if he's smiling, well, wait till you see the smile on our next guest. We wrap up our commemoration of our harvest celebration winners from this year with the big one. And this is probably as big an award as there gets in South African wine. The 1659 Visionary Leadership Award is given out to people who do quite remarkable things over quite a long period of time. And I look at some of the recent winners, people like Ken Forrester, who received his award for the incredible contribution he has made to South African wine as one great example. Tim from DGB, who's also put in a huge amount of time. And then we get this year's winner. Johan Krige, congratulations. It's great to get awards, and no matter how much we play them down, it just, as people, makes us feel good. But when you get this award, when your peers say, you know what, Johan, your body of work over your lifetime in the wine industry is so exceptional that we want to give you this particular nomination, that's going to feel incredibly special.
Yeah, well, obviously, it's a great honor. It's not something that you do force. It just sort of happens. And yeah, thanks for the organizers and for the industry as a whole. Without my partners, and my friends, and my colleagues, this would never have been possible.
It's always easy to pass on lots of thanks to everybody else around you, but ultimately you are the person who gets this, and it's in celebration of this career that you've had. As you look back, and it's a tough one to ask because it's been a long and distinguished career, but what are some of the highlights, some of the moments that give you particular joy as you recollect them?
I think my traveling through the wine industry started when I was 6 years old. Yeah. I grew up in a house where everyone consumed wine. Mm-hmm. And my parents used to have a glass, probably 2-3 glasses of wine every night for dinner. I checked them quite carefully, their behavior and what they were drinking to so remember that their gut was excellent. So when I got 6, I got home in the afternoon from school, and as usual, a hot plate of food in the oven. And I sat down all by myself, and I thought, well, the apple doesn't go far from the tree if you're in a wine family. So I poured myself a glass of wine. So about 2 evenings later, my mother asked me, how was today? I said, no, 2 days ago it was a great plate of. She asked me why. And I said, well, I did it with wine. She got the shock of her life. And she said, just don't tell your father. Don't tell your father. But you should never have done that, because that is where my curiosity about wine started. What's wrong with me pouring one glass of wine every day? I did tell my father, but obviously he would have known it. So that's where it started.
It put you on the front foot for this wonderful wine journey of yours. And I think you're celebrated broadly in two spaces, one being Kanonkop and one being the wider industry. When you look at Kanonkop, we were celebrating 50 years of Kanonkop not that long ago. You've been very lucky to have just a few winemakers who've continued this incredible tradition of yours. From a Kanonkop perspective, what are you proudest of in terms of what the estate has delivered for South African wine?
I think when I got involved at Kanonkop, we had a fruit salad of wines, 1981. And we had a think tank on the farm, myself, my brother, my mother, and my father, and by a speaker, winemaker, Praisy. And I said, I'm not a winemaker, I'm not a viticulturist, but I know what grows on the top. And it's not Sauvignon Blanc, it's not Rhine Riesling, it's not Chardonnay, and a host of other varieties. So let's cut it down to what works on this property.
It's a very focused model that I think a number of people have taken inspiration from. And they've also, though, taken your cue, Johan, from the work beyond Kanonkop. And I think this 1659 Leadership Award is very much for that, as well as just on your own estate. The work that you've done internationally, you've been involved in a number of big wine associations. I think of the support of things like the Cape Wine Auction. That's been, it seems, a really important part of who you are and what you've wanted to do to ensure that your wine legacy and your wine contribution doesn't end at the boundaries of Kanonkop.
No, definitely not. But when I got involved in the wine business, I was a young guy. And I was driven not necessarily by wine as such, but by the business of wine.
Leadership is often seen retrospectively when it looks to have been visionary. We're often sometimes confident of where we might be going, but not always absolutely certain. If you look at how you've approached leadership at Kanonkop in the wine industry, what do you think has been key to navigating the journey that you have and to have achieved the success that you have?
You need a passion for this. That's what you need. Mine just happened to be all, and I've lived this journey because of my passion for the business of wine. I'm not a winemaker. I'm not a viticulturist. So I enjoy wine. I drink what I like. And I've got a big bucket about snobism, specifically in the wine business. We try to get more consumers into the business to enjoy the enjoyment of wine. But yet we are into this that I call sort of the halo effect. The majority of people involved in this position wine somewhere up there mysterious. And that's wrong. Keep everything simple and let's enjoy the fun that we can have with.
Johan, it's always a joy catching up with you. I know how special this one is. Congratulations. It is so richly deserved. One of 5 terrific winners. Well done. Enjoy what I'm sure are continuing celebrations and keep on leading us in the South African wine industry with the vision and the joy and the fun that you've had for so many years already. And congratulations.
Thank you so much.
So there we go. Winner of the 1659 Visionary Award, joining Martin, joining Praisy, joining Bennie. Not sadly joined by Jan Boysen, who won the Viticulture Award, but I'm sure we'll catch up with him at another time. Sadly, he wasn't available today. But the winners who were showed collectively not just how much goes into this wine industry of ours, but how many wonderful people we do have as part of it. That's us for this week. I have many toasts to raise. I hope you do as well. We'll see you back on the show again next week. Goodbye.